Welcome to episode 108 of the Repossible podcast. I'm your host, Bradley Charbonneau, and I'm just going to jump right into my conversation with Cora Hollander as we just jump on right into the good stuff. And it's one of those times where I'm glad I hit record because within a span of 20 minutes, I'm pretty sure we've created like a three-step process to break through your creativity, or shall I say, Cora created a three-step process to break through your creativity blocks and get started and get over that blank page or the blank page of music or the blank page of writing. Or how can you get started with your creativity? How can you keep going? How can you change your goals? And you know what? I'm just going to let us get into it. Here's Bradley Charbonneau and Cora Hollander for Repossible episode 108. Glad you're here and have a great week. Sometimes I wish, we have such good conversations and I think, we should have just recorded this. There's so much good stuff in here. And so as we met in person, this woman and I, for some hotel cafe thing, it's really noisy. But we were just on a roll. It just felt good. I said, hey, we should really record this. And she says, oh yeah, that would be great someday. I said, no, I mean right now. What? We can't do that. What do you mean? I said, I'm going to put my phone on the table and hit record. She said, what? I don't have a good microphone. What about all the background noise? Shouldn't we prepare? I don't have notes. I said, it'll be fine. When I hit record, and it's like this lovely background noise, it was all good. It was all fine. And it was so funny because she was so shocked. She was like, wow, you can just do that? I said, yeah. It's interesting, different people's challenges, what somebody finds difficult.
Yeah, I was a bit like that, but that was before I got practiced in table topics.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm laughing about it, but it's true. It's true. Because then through the practice of table topics, so just you're not prepared. The only thing you can do is show up. Somebody's gonna toss you a question, and open your mouth and speak. That's your only job. So once you get exposed to that a lot, I think it's less unfamiliar situation, so that helps. And you notice you will live. And you will manage. You will live and you will manage. And sometimes you will even do a decent job. So that's good. That builds confidence.
That's a good title. You know what? We're already recording. I'm just going to go with this because I'm really into titles. I'm always thinking of titles and I just love them. I just think they're fun. And you just said, you will live. Oh, that's good. Because I think people are so scared and so hesitant and, I don't know, it's not going to be perfect. And I said, no, I can tell you, it won't be perfect because perfection doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Why bother?
Yeah.
But that's it, though. But that's really cool. That's a perfect example of using table topics, and to explain table topics in Toastmasters, where Cora and I met. It's a improvisational speech, 1 to 2 minutes, really short. You get one question which you don't know in advance, and here you go. Here's your question. You're on. And I don't think you have any prep time, right? I guess you could take a few seconds.
You can take 20, 30 seconds if you want to. Yeah.
Okay. And then there you go. And so by the way, I know I just jumped into this and I know we hit record, and I have Cora Hollander on the phone, and we are talking about create. And we had talked the other day, and I just felt we are just firing on all cylinders, as they say. And we had so many great topics, and we just she was just like quoting chapters from my upcoming book, Create, as if she was reading it. And for me, it was just so reassuring and rewarding that I feel like I'm hitting a good tone and hitting a good target of this book, Create, which is speaking of taglines, I got to work on a tagline, but making, doing, creating stuff where there was nothing and then there was something. And it's a bit like right now, we just hit record. It's a bit like table topics. Here's your question, go.
Mm-hmm.
You're not shooting for perfection, you're shooting for action. So this is really cool, because I think people are so scared, and they're like, how can I get from 1 to 10, skipping 2 through 9?
Yeah.
I want to get to perfection. How do I get there? And you have a perfect example in this tool, this table topics. So that really helped you. That's really cool to hear. How did that happen? Just doing it, or how did that come about? Table topics and you learning to. What were your challenges before? Was it fear? Was it perfection? Analysis paralysis?
Yeah, well, how it came about, well, I became a member of Toastmasters, like you said, where we met, in order to get better at public speaking. So I'm not someone who's afraid of the stage. So go up there and do something is not necessarily scary for me, but getting away with it and being really good at it are two different things. So I came there to indulge more in this art. Little did I know that there is much more to Toastmasters, and we can have a whole conversation about that, but let's limit it to table topics. So there's always this exercise, like you just explained, that a couple of participants in the meeting will be called to the front of the room just to talk about a topic, a object, a question, a statement, for 1 to 2 minutes. And I think what happens, I think in a lot of people, and certainly with me, that you get that opportunity. And do you know when you maybe you have this experience too? You're watching like a game show on TV, and they're asking questions, and you're sitting on your couch, and you're like, "Oh, don't you see it? That's the answer." Or, don't you see it in a crossword? Like, it's right there. I mean, come on. Yeah, but somehow it's very different from a spectator perspective than from an actor perspective, let's say. So what happens is that in that moment, I'm not saying this is fair, but it happens that in the moment you think, okay, I gotta act now, and it's gotta come out right now. So there's a lot of suddenly a lot of time pressure. So for me, it's not so much eyes on me or being in front of the stage or anything, but it's like, ooh, I've got to perform now. Yeah. And I cannot think twice. I cannot come back to it. There are no do-overs. There's only one chance.
Right.
Yeah, of course, because that will determine whether you live or not, right? It will. It totally does.
Yeah. So you said something very interesting. You said the difference was you weren't so scared of getting up there, which is already a fear a lot of people have. So you're over that one. But then you said, well, the difference was getting away with it, or I can't remember your exact words, but something like
or being good at it. Yeah.
Being good at it. So in other terms, like, so getting away with it is sort of, if I'm talking back to 1 to 10, where 1 is getting on stage and bombing, and 10 is perfection. So you're saying the difference between, of course, anybody can go stand up there and bomb, or just be silent, or just blah blah for 1.5 minutes, and sure, it wasn't great, but they stood on stage. I mean, at least it's a step. So how did you get from like that 1 to 1 and not 10? And the thing I try to bring home is that, and this is hard, and it's taken me years to get over this, but the weird goal, in my opinion, is the goal is not perfection. The goal is not 10. really.
Mm-hmm.
The goal
Mm-hmm.
is the practice. The goal is the doing it. And
Yeah.
then when you're doing it, you realize, oh, I'm achieving my goal.
Yeah.
And maybe you hit some 10s once in a while. Oops, I hit a 10. Wow, yay, cool. But I think it's almost subconscious that you get to that point because, like you said, if it's the pressure's on, the clock has started, the cameras are rolling, and you have to perform, and it has to be perfect. Go! Ah!
Yeah. And then you walk
That
back to
sounds
your seat and
awful.
you're like, oh, now I have the perfect answer. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how can we then go from that moment when you have to perform to then, like you say with the game show too, you're there, you're safe and sound on your couch. You're not there with the lights on and the cameras rolling. You know the answer. Oh, it's so clear.
Mm-hmm.
So have you improved then from, okay, you're up on stage, go. And how did you improve? How did you get better at it?
I think I can share two insights here uh, that are valid for me for the experience of table topics, but also in general in my experience of creating. So one is anchored in this feeling like, okay, so if you're in the spotlight and you're under tension and you have to think right there, right then, that's not a very good environment to be creative.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it's like, okay, so if I apparently I can do it from my couch, but it's harder to do in the spotlight. All right, that's interesting.
Hmm.
So I have an option to fight harder in the spotlight. You can try, not gonna work, at least not in my experience. Or you can say,
Right,
okay,
and what do you mean fight harder? You mean it's like try harder or just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay,
try harder. I should be able to do this. Come on,
okay,
yeah,
just push.
push through it. You can try
Yeah,
that, but in my experience, does not really work, or at least it's very uncomfortable.
yeah,
But if you realize, like, okay, let's call it the couch environment where there's less pressure, and then you find yourself actually being able to come up with the answer, the idea. It's like, okay, so what I need is not more pushing. I need more couch environment. I need more
yeah.
couch environment. So let's
Hmm.
try to organize it as such that you are more in a sort of, that you don't try to be creative on the spot where you exert a lot of tension on yourself, but organize your environment that it's more couch like. So say, okay, so that means that you're not really going to force it. And going back to the table topics experiment
Yeah.
or experience, what really helped for me to say is like, okay, so I say this to myself in my head: this is time to play. It's time to practice. Take a breath, smile, and then go start with your with your answer or your little speech. So I really try to create there like a 10-second couch environment for myself, and so this is playtime. It's not performance time.
Again, you're taking from.
I'm sorry, but
I think you know this, but I have an 11-book series called Repossible,
mm-hmm.
and book 9, maybe it's 10, is called Play.
Mm-hmm.
And these books along the spectrum, they gradually increase in how else to explain it, like higher level thinking, or you're almost going into the subconscious. It's almost automatic. It's your, what it is, you're heading towards the couch world. You're heading, I'm so intrigued that you said the word play, because I think that's the goal. If you can
Mm-hmm.
then stand up on stage, bright lights, cameras rolling, audience is waiting for you to say something, and if you can turn that into play, that relaxing time, that couch time, that I'm at ease, then you're good to go. And so it
Yeah.
sounds like you have some techniques that you've learned along the way to go from there's always, I was writing to you about the gazelle this morning,
Yeah.
and how the gazelle is in survival mode when the lion's there. Oops, the lion wants to eat me. That's not good. And so I'm in stressful survival mode. Excuse me. Whereas when the gazelle is just chomping on grass, chatting with his buddies at the little pond, the gazelle has no worries. And what's beautiful about like the gazelle's little brain is that it doesn't even remember that the lion was chasing it this morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, lion? What lion? I'm good. I got grass. I've got friends. I've got pond water. Everything's good. And oh, let's go play. Let's go frolic in the meadow, and everything is good. It's usually for them couch time. It's
Yeah.
usually playtime. But for humans, it's just so much tougher. We should just really have that part of our brain just removed and be more like the gazelle. But but of course, there are advantages to being a little more intelligent than a gazelle sometimes.
Yeah.
But how do you think, how could somebody, and we're talking about being on stage, which is super scary for some people, but if we could apply this to anything, we could apply it to your world of creating music, creating poetry, or writers creating a chapter, or looking at that blank page and feeling, oh, the lion is coming, you know, the blank page is coming, the fear, the threat. So how did you progress from being like, well, here's a terrible pun, the deer in the headlights, the gazelle in the headlights. So funny. Um, what kind of techniques could you share that you learned along the way to improve your performance? Because you're still on stage. It's not, you're not saying, oh, the answer is to never be on stage and just sit on
Mm-hmm.
your couch and answer the questions on the TV. Because we want to perform, we want to create. So how do you have any techniques that you learned along the way? Like you said, you took a deep breath and you said it's playtime, or
Yeah.
it's practice time. What
Yeah.
how else
So
could you help people get into that sort of state of mind?
yeah. So the playtime metaphor really works for me because it does always make me smile, and that relaxes you.
Mm.
That helps. But what I also it's another, I would say it's a mindset thing, but it's also a practical thing. Like if you have that performance energy, or say goal-oriented energy, right? You said, okay, I want to, I have to pursue an outcome, right? I have to write a chapter. I have to make a poem. I have to do this impromptu speech.
Yeah.
Then, at least for me, because I'm quite a goal-oriented person, then the outcome becomes super important, and it's really about the 10. You make it about the 10 on the scale of 1 to 10, right?
Okay.
And that's a bit, it's a bit further away. So look, I cannot really exit like this goal-oriented energy in myself, but I can redirect it. So now I sound so wise, but this was like, okay, at some point you fall, you get up, you fall, you get up, and you realize, oh wait, I did that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So what I did, so okay, let's
So
try to.
practice.
Yeah, it's practice. It's
Practicing,
practice.
failing.
So it's also for me, it's really helpful to pursue a goal. It is, but apparently the outcome goal, I have to write this chapter, brings so much pressure, and it's not serving you, right? So so what I try to do is then to redirect it to a more, you can say, process goal. So I don't have to write a chapter today in one draft without anyone on this planet being able to find one suggestion for editing, because that's how perfect it is. No, the goal is I'm gonna spend an hour today on this. I'm gonna spend an hour today on this. And I really will allow myself not to be distracted. And I find either a comfy couch or a place in the sun outside or whatever suits you, right? And I'm going to sit with this for an hour, and maybe I'll write a chapter. Maybe I'll just write one word. That's both okay, because the goal is not the outcome. The goal is the process. I want to spend time. I want to spend time with my idea. And then the creative process itself can still have all its moments, right? But at least for me, that helps to take the pressure off that you need to finish something, that you need to accomplish something. And that brings more of a couch mindset, you can say. There's more room for play in a process goal than in an outcome goal, at least for me.
Oh, wow. There's more room for play in a process goal than an outcome goal. So I love this. The hour, there you go. You can't fail. You just have to spend it. Well, you can, I guess you could stop, but go spend the hour or even 15 minutes, whatever your goal is, whatever you can handle. I mean, I guess as you get better, maybe an hour sounds a little daunting. Wow, I have to spend an hour on this one little idea. I don't know if I need an hour. Whereas, but even 15 minutes, then you're going to get somewhere. You hopefully get a word down.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is, because for me, I find myself that as soon as I'm in it, I'm in the creative process. I started with something.
Yeah.
Ideas will come, or inspiration will flow, right? And maybe it's good, maybe it isn't, but that's not the moment to judge, right? So in the process, you can just spend time with it, and if you're gonna throw it all away later, that's cool. But the point is, spend time with it and get started. So for me, it's not always easy to get started, because I have blank page fright.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a thing, but I think it's a thing. Okay, you have blank page fright. So what you, again, you can say, okay, but I want to push through this, or you can make that blank page a little less blank. So maybe, let's say you want to write a short story. Maybe you already have something in the back of your mind, say one sentence or a phrase you heard in a song that really touched you. Like, okay, so I have a whole book, like I scribble things down that speak to me somehow, and it doesn't have to mean anything right away. But if I find myself in a blank page situation, you say, okay, I'm gonna take something, much like actually the table topics question. So just get something. So for example, maybe you're right before, but maybe right before you were going to sit down or spend some time on your creative process, the phone rang. So I said, okay, you can. That's a start. Just write down, the phone rang. Because that turns the blank page into a non-blank page, and you can take that many ways. So I just do this okay, the phone rang, because as soon as I have something in front of me, you can use that, associate with that. It can ignite your imagination, right? So okay, the phone rang. So I'm not telling a true story. What could have happened? I just spend a few minutes on that, as if it was a table topics exercise. And then a few minutes later, you can, tap yourself on the shoulder, because you were already imagining, you were already creating. Cool, we already got started. The page is not blank again. Now let's go. So those two things I think really help me. So couch mindset, have a process goal, and if something is not suiting, so the blank page is really scary, just do a little
trigger
exercise. Do a little trigger, so that you can. I mean, if you're sitting in a forest and you like drawing, make set a timer for 30 seconds and make a sketch of what you're seeing. That doesn't really matter. It can be anything that's close to you, but it does get me started. And so it helps me to put my brain into this more creative mindset and an outcome oriented mindset.
So you have a trigger to get you started, and then you turn the goal from the outcome to the process. So an hour or whatever, some time limit.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're on the couch.
Exactly.
You're in play mode. We've just created an entire process right here in 20 minutes. That
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. There you go. And so for me, and this is what I love about writing books or having a project or working on something, right? So for me right now, it's all about creating. So what I find is that I see it a lot like I'm very visual. I see like a boat going through a lake, and the boat makes a wake, right? But then like a deeper boat, what's kind of neat is if you ever watch behind the boat, you'll see it pushes the water out, but then it's sort of a little like Moses, parting the Red Sea, but it pushes out, but then it comes back in and it sort of follows you. And so I find that when we create things, that other creative endeavors, other creative people will then say, oh, look, that boat, that's creating something. And you're almost sucked in in a good way, sucked in.
Yeah.
Sucked in like a vacuum and say, ooh, I have an idea about that. And just this is exactly what we're doing right now. I mean, we started talking about table topics, and now in the span of 20 minutes, 2 people on a phone call have just created a simple yet powerful 3-step process to begin your creation if you're stuck. I love it. This is what I love doing, Cora.
Yeah.
I'm out in the woods. It's the morning. There's birds chirping. The sun is out. My dog is happy over here looking for frogs. And here we are creating. And We're on the couch. We're in playful mode. There's no camera on. We are being recorded. We can always edit it. It might be terrible, but it's all good. Wow.
It's all good.
Okay, I'm gonna quit while we're ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I would say like yes, we are being recorded, but I loved what you said. Like we are being recorded, but we can edit it. So if you're someone who wants to create but is maybe very much afraid of your audience reaction, and that's inflicts upon you this spotlight and the performance mode, you can play a little trick on yourself and say, you know what, for the moment I'm gonna make it so that I'm the only one who reads this or listens to this or looks at this. So then you can also take the audience away, right? So if you're someone who's comfortable alone on your couch, it's totally cool that you're alone on your couch during this playtime.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm good. My morning is already off to a great start. This has been a wonderful talk, Cora. Thank you so much for joining me here.
Thank you for inviting me, Bradley.
My pleasure. And it's not going to be the last time. This has been super fun. Okay, so I can totally edit this out, but I'm going to ask you right now, can people see any of your singing, your music, your band online somewhere? Is it available somewhere?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Is there any YouTube videos or anything, or no?
No, we didn't publish anything yet.
Okay. Well, I'm putting that teaser out there, unless you're in super secret mode. But I just really enjoyed hearing you sing, and I'd love to hear more. So we can make a link if there is a link, and if not, then we can have a to be continued. And of course, you know what I'm doing here. I'm secretly challenging you to have a link at some point.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. See, when there is already a link, there's no blank page anymore. So let's get started.
Maybe I'll make a link and it'll be to like this blank YouTube for 4 minutes. Somebody standing there not singing on the couch. Ooh, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been Cora Hollander. Thank you so much for being here this morning. For me, my day is good. I'm all ready to go. And I hope, dear listeners, that here on the Repossible podcast, that this has helped you. And I think I can really see this 3-step process. I'm going to go write it out as well. And so it can be even more useful. But thank you so much, Cora. And I hope you have a great day. And thanks for being on. And I look forward to talking with you again.
Thank you, Bradley. Pleasure is all mine. And I know I started off my morning with a smile, and I was very happy to bounce off good vibes and ideas with you this morning.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much from Utrecht in the Netherlands. This has been Bradley Charbonneau and the Repossible podcast. I'm here every week on Thursdays, and sometimes complete with dog and birds. In the background. That is not fake, pumped in nature noise. That's real. Okay, signing off. Thanks for seeing you. See you next week.
Ciao, Bradley.